I'm Hazel. It's Saturday today, which makes it time to sit down and catch up on the WoW news of the week, what I have been up to, and answer some of your questions. This week, Season 4 started in Retail WoW. It is now live, and here are 5 things that you want to make sure you take a look into doing if you want to be keeping up with the general gearing process this season. Number 1 is get your sparks. For this week only, we can get 1 entire spark in 1 week. You can get half from doing the weekly quest that you pick up in Veldraken, and the other half has a chance to drop from the normal bad luck protection sources. I got mine from doing a mythic dungeon. Using that spark lets you craft a piece of current relevant Season 4 gear, and moving forward, we'll be getting half a spark per week from your weekly quest, and then if you fall behind, you can catch back up to how many everybody else has via the catch-up drops. But this is a kind of like a freebie first spark to get you started in the season. The second thing to get is your Antique Bronze Bullion item. This is a random drop from any Awakened raid boss, including on LFR. It is not a guaranteed drop, so you might have to kill a varying number of bosses before you get it. This is the item that we will need in order to purchase specific trinkets, special effect items, and weapons from the bullion vendors that are located in Veldraken here. We cannot buy anything yet because everything on this vendor costs at least 2 bullion, so next week when we get our second one will be the first chance that we have to actually buy something, but make sure that you get your first one this week if this is a vendor that you are looking to use. Bullions are a raid-specific currency, and you use them to buy items from the raid, so you cannot buy Mythic Plus gear from these, and you cannot get a bullion from doing Mythic Plus. Speaking of dungeons, though, the third item on my Season 4 list is to consider running Mythic 0 dungeons for champion-level gear if you're feeling up to it. If you're feeling a little bit under-geared or you want to get your confidence up first, random heroics are also dropping more relevant gear now. I like Mythic Zeros for gear quite a lot because unlike Mythic Plus, there's no timer, so there's no huge rush to get through it and pull it like crazy. You get more gear from a Mythic Zero than you might from a Mythic Plus because every single boss has a chance to drop gear as opposed to just 2 flat pieces at the end of the run. And you've just got more dungeons. In addition to the 8 Dragonflight dungeons, you can also do Dawn of the Infinites on Mythic Zero for champion level gear. It's a weekly lockout on those, so if you were looking to play catch up with your gear, that would be a good world tour to do, and it's also a great source of crests and flight stones. Fourthly, we start this season with 1 catalyst charge. You can catalyze 1 piece of your Season 4 tier set by taking a piece of Season 4 gear to the Creation Catalyst. It is located in the same place that it always has been, over here in Theldraszus. And you don't have to use your catalyst charge right away, so if you want to wait and see if you maybe get a piece from raid, or maybe you get a piece of tier from your first weekly vault, that's a totally valid thing to do. But if you maybe got a piece of tier already from either maybe it dropped from the raid, or if you completed the raid on Heroic or got Keystone Master already, you would get an Awakened Mark of Mastery that you can trade for a tier piece as well, so maybe you would then want to catalyze another piece to get like a 2-piece bonus going. Next, for this week in particular, the Time Walking weekly quests are fantastic. You can get both of the Time Walking weekly quests done by doing a Black Temple Time Walking raid. The raid itself is dropping champion level gear, and you can get a hero track piece from the Black Temple weekly quest cache. And the raid itself is very easy, it's very puggable. You cannot random queue for it, but there are groups building in the group finder that function very much like LFR. There are plenty of ways to gear up this season. I'm sure I've missed some good ones. Maybe people can fill in some gaps in the comments. But it's good news because I'm pretty excited to kind of get my gear and get my Season 4 goals done in maybe a little bit of a hurry because we have some launch dates now for patch 10.2.7 and Pandaria Remix. So patch 10.2.7 is releasing the week of May 7th. This is the patch that includes the Draenei and the Darkspear Troll Heritage armor, and there's also going to be a new story quest line, something to do with Xal'atath that kind of bridges the story between Dragonflight and the War Within. That's coming out in just over a week, and then a little later on May the 16th, Pandaria Remix is officially launching, and this is the thing that I'm really hoping I'm kind of finished up with Season 4 by then. I know that's like 3 weeks is a really fast amount of time to finish a season in, but it's enough time to see each of the raids. You know, it's enough time to see both Fortified Week and Tyrannical Week, so maybe it'll do. Another thing coming in patch 10.2.7 is confirmed 5 more character slots, bringing your account-wide total up to 65. And you might want to save a couple of those slots for Pandaria Remix if you're planning on leveling new characters. Other 10.2.7 surprises, Mr. GM discovered on the PTR a new personal tabard feature coming in 10.2.7. So there's a short quest line that you get from Chromie and Veldraken, and this unlocks the ability to customize a personal tabard for your character that uses all of the same options that guild tabards have access to. Mr. GM confirmed in his tweet that the unlock is account-wide, so all of your characters can make a tabard, but the design itself is character-bound, so all of your characters can make a separate tabard. You good? And then looping back to Pandaria Remix, the launch is a global one, so everybody's going to gain access to Remix at the same time, which is 10 a.m. Pacific on May the 16th. And we have this week learned 2 more revelations concerning Remix on top of what we already knew. So, a blue post has firstly confirmed that you can earn Heritage Armor by playing Pandaria Remix. Reaching level 50 in Remix will make a character eligible for Heritage Armor. You won't be able to actually get the quest or the armor until after the event ends, so it's going to be a while before you're able to actually receive that appearance. But the character will be eligible to pick up the quest. So if you level to 50 in Pandaria Remix and then wait until the event ends and then log back into that character, they should be able to pick up the quest that gives them Heritage Armor, and this has been confirmed by a blue post. The second revelation concerns our favorite curly shoulder transmog, the Tusks of Manaroth. Tusks of Manaroth were conspicuously missing from the bronze vendors in Pandaria Remix, which was a bit funny because you could buy things like the Garrosh mount, so having this rare piece of transmog missing was kind of strange. We don't know for sure what they're doing yet, but Wowhead data mined off the 1027 PTR 2 items with names related to Tusks of Manaroth. The Bones of Manaroth item drops from defeating Garrosh on a non-LFR difficulty, and it has a max stack size of 20. So details aren't confirmed yet, but I am not expecting the Tusks to just be on the bronze vendor. It sounds like there may be some kind of separate acquisition method for them on Remix that involves running a lot of Siege. We don't know for sure yet, but it would be good news for people that have been farming Tusks forever and are looking for an easier way to get those, along with the other Pandaria cosmetics. Other stuff going on this week, we got news that BlizzCon has been cancelled. Dun dun. There was an official announcement from Blizz that there will be no convention this year. Instead, they'll do other gaming events such as Gamescom, and for the 30th anniversary of the Warcraft franchise, they're going to be doing multiple smaller in-person events around the world, with not many details on what exactly that looks like, but we'll find out closer to that anniversary. They notably did not share in this post any reasons around why they decided not to do it. I'm sure that there's basically no good that can come of telling us. There are plenty of different theories and speculation floating around. It could be a profit thing. It could be just that the convention loses money. I don't know. It could be a PR thing. It could be that every BlizzCon there's some kind of a PR meltdown and that's been determined to be not desirable. It could be a personnel thing. It could be that they've restructured and they no longer have the people that know how to run BlizzCon. Maybe somebody just forgot to book the convention center and then, well, never mind. They did say in this post that they are excited to bring BlizzCon back in future years, so it is probably not gone forever. And then speaking of things going away, the WoW companion app is retiring when the War Within pre-patch comes out. So we don't know exactly when it's going away, but its days are definitely numbered. The WoW Companion app was mainly used for running missions, particularly during Shadowlands. It was very useful for running follower missions on your alt while you were not home, as well as more recently being able to check auction house listings. So this is kind of a bummer for a lot of people that were still actively using this app, but they've announced that they're not supporting it, so rest in peace, I suppose. And then in my life this week, I have been having a nice time streaming Alpha, as well as a couple of Season 4 dungeons. I've been poking around in Alpha, trying out the new dungeons on Holy Priest with Archon, and then questing the Shadow with the Voidweaver's Tree, both of which feel very fun. I'm really coming around in hero talents. I was kind of iffy on them at first, but the more I play with them, the more I like them. And the new zones feel nice so far. I was a bit worried about the underground zones feeling kind of cavey and Zeralot Caverns-y, but we've seen the Ringing Deeps now, and it doesn't feel claustrophobic at all. So far, I am happy. And questions for this week. Saint Phoenix wants to know, do you think follower dungeons will be a thing in War Within as well? Or maybe they're planning to expand them to older expansions too? Personally, I love follower dungeons since I'm shy and want to learn every dungeon at my own pace. So, for the War Within specifically, I tracked down a passage from a group interview that the devs gave where they said that follower dungeons will be available for the War Within instances right away, and that it makes the story quests that happen in dungeons more accessible. So you will have them for the new dungeons. As far as expanding them backwards retroactively, they haven't said anything about that I've been able to find, and I wouldn't get your hopes up because it seems like something that maybe it's easy and they'll just do it. It would be great if they did it. I would love it. But I don't know if it's something that, if it turns out to be like technically thorny to accomplish, given how many dungeons there are in the back catalog and how small the demand is on any individual old dungeon relative to newer ones. Unless it's something that's easy to roll out to all of them, it seems like I don't know, I wouldn't get your hopes up. If they did decide to expand them retroactively, I would love to see them prioritize the dungeons that recur in Mythic Plus seasons as they come back. So, for example, in War Within Season 1, when they're bringing back Siege of Borellis, Grim Batol, and then Miss of Tyrna's Scythe and the Necrotic Wake, it would be cool if those ones specifically got a follower dungeon version so that people could poke around in those and get to know them before they try them on Mythic Plus. I would love to see that happen. That's not something they've said that they're going to do, but I think they should. And then Black Belt asks, I remember watching in videos in Season 2 of Dragonflight of you trying to get your legendary for your evoker with no avail. I was curious if you're going to try again in Season 4, and if so, good luck. Oh, that's very nice of you. I, at a certain point, when I dropped evoker and switched to Holy Priest, I decided that I don't want it. And I actively avoided going back because I didn't want it to drop. Because if I'm not going to main evoker anyway, I didn't want to feel like I should spend the gold and do the work to like actually put the darn thing together. So I didn't even want to see the item because I didn't even want to go there. I think I've ended up becoming a bit strangely like anti-legendary. I know a lot of people like them, and I'm not, campaigning to have them removed or anything like that. But at this point in the expansion, I actively don't want it. And I think that if they announce a legendary that is for my class and it's another one of these random raid drops, I am not going to be happy. I sincerely hope that everybody that is grinding for a Firalath or a Nazero gets lucky and gets their legendary, but I don't have it within me to be amongst your ranks anymore. And that has been the week. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions that you would like to ask me on a news video, please leave them in the comments and include the word question to help me find it. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.